Alright, welcome back guys. So this is my end of Season 22 wrap-up video. We're going to have all the runes, we're going to talk about the builds, we're going to look in depth at every match on the final day-ish. So we're going to really dig into it. Another really good season, I feel like. I finished G1, this is, I don't know, like an hour before tally, I can't remember. But I had secured my last win, and I was like, okay, I'm good, because the cutoff was going to be around 1930, something like that. This is my highest finish so far, so this goes in my record book as my highest finish, 1750, but it's just random because all I was trying to do is get over the cutoff. Probably, you know, one of my better win rates, 65%. I was 220 total matches, which is not a lot. 143 wins, 77 losses. So yeah, pretty good season. So let's go ahead and take a look at how things went, and I'll be able to speed up or slow down depending on what we're doing here. Let's go ahead and hit play. Which I like. I like pre-recording the video and then being able to pause it and talk things out. So we'll do the runes first because this is going to be a long one because it's got all the matches. So we'll do the runes first so that you can kind of see my thoughts. Here's the Pra. Didn't use her too much, but crit rate, accuracy, speed, violent, additional damage. Wusa, didn't use them a lot. I had mine as a turn 1 Wusa to punish people that, you know, didn't have any strip. Molong's currently doesn't have what he needs there. 265 on the Moor. Good HP, good attack, just kind of bruisery, which a decent amount of accuracy as well. On Despair Broken. Here's the Nana, 247, Despair, Nem. Just pretty tanky, nothing too special. Got the rest of the accuracy through artifacts, I believe. Let's slow it down a little bit. Here's the Miles, 270, same thing, just a tanky bruiser with a little bit of accuracy on shield. Shizuka, I used more towards the end of the season. She was a really strong unit for me, so I was really happy with how Shizuka performed. So 274 speed. With damage down from wind. Just spare. Triple Revenge, Verd, didn't use them much. Juno, I'm pretty happy with this build. 280, 92 crit, 54 ac. Pretty good stats on Revenge and additional damage. Antares, didn't use them a lot. Segment, 220, probably seen this one before. Accuracy gets into the 70-ish range with artifacts, so not as good as I'd like, but that's all I can do. Here's the Masha, 300 speed on the button, which is kind of fun, with 87 crit. I'd liked it to be a little more, but it is what it is, and no accuracy, which is also a bit of a bummer. But she's on Swift Nem, and I feel like Swift worked pretty well for me. I want my Violent procs going to Han and Yanhong, not necessarily Masha, and that seemed to work pretty well. So I think I'm going to keep her on Swift because she can protect herself on Swift pretty well. You can be pretty confident that she's going to get her natural turns. So yeah, that was my thought process there. I know a lot of people have her on Violent, but I thought Swift was better for me. Massive crit damage on 2. And Carnal didn't use much. Leo didn't use much. None of these I used much. Diana, I didn't use a ton, but when I did, this is the build. On Will, of course. HP, crit rate HP with additional damage. Mephisto didn't use. Oliver I put on Despair after that one SWC. I think I'm going to put him back on Violent, but Despair was fun. Every once in a while, you know, crazy things would happen. And I had good Despair runes left over, and I kind of built him late in the game, so I put him on more of a unit, or just a set that I wasn't using too much. Crit damage on that artifact, I don't know if that's the correct call. Here's the Dominic. I thought pretty good, you know, on Will. Good accuracy, decent speed, pretty good tankiness, I don't know. So attack, HP, attack. Just good speed on the 2 attack runes. And then additional damage by attack like crazy, because that's how he rolls. Here's the Yanhong, 302, I think? Yeah, 302 on Violent Will, which I think is one of my best builds. All I'm doing is I'm waiting on quad rolls. If I can get a quad roll on my 1 or my 3, she's going to get even better. I feel like my 4 and my 5 are pretty much done, but the 1 and the 3 need a little bit if I can ever get a quad roll. Here's the Molly. I used her less and less as the season went on. I really like that artifact. She just didn't quite bring enough for me. I felt like I was better off being more aggressive than being more passive, because I think I'm sort of a hybrid. I'm built kind of tanky but kind of fast, and I'm not like the full tank turn 2s, which need the, like, you know, 40 plus 50k Molly or whatever, and that's not me, so it's a little bit in between. I like always having her resistance at 52 or above, which means with Yanhong lead, she's 100% res, so I don't quite build full into res like some people do. Here's the Han, Violent Will. I had him on Swift for a while, and I put his additional damage on HP, because he has a ton of HP for a Han, and I don't feel like he gets shut down with Leos as much anymore. Like, I like him into Leos a lot because he cycles. he does additional damage versus HP now, and so he still just does what he's supposed to do. Only his skill 1 scales off speed, so I'm pretty happy with that setup. Here's the Verisa, 219 speed on crit. Accuracy is a little low, but I used her occasionally just to disrupt turn 1s, and I like the way she functioned there. Might play her a little more later. This beta is something I pulled late, and I put on kind of extra runes, but she's 308 speed. Just again, a turn 1 with Han that gives you immunity and anti-crit. But maybe I'll give her a little love next season. I don't know. She's getting a little baby buff, so we'll see. All right, so these are all my replays. We're going to go through them all. I had a bit of a nosedive on the last night, but then I was able to pull it back up, so we'll just take a look here. Because I know there's been requests for talking through pick ban, talking through gameplay, and I want to be able to provide that for you guys. So let's speed it up a little bit. We'll talk about the pick ban. Okay, so Masha is my first pick. I went back and forth. Sometimes I'd go Oliver, sometimes Shizuka, sometimes Masha. I think Masha is the best for me because she's not easily messed with, and sometimes people try to counter her by going heavy water, and I feel like my best pivot is into heavy wind. I really feel confident pivoting into heavy wind with the Dominic, with the Diana, stuff like that. So I feel pretty good about the Masha first pick. So they went Oliver Miles, which is fine. I've been trying to get better at when someone takes an Oliver to take a speed lead, like a more, because if they go Oliver Miles more Chung Pung, that's a loser for me. I can't beat that very well. Like that's my hardest matchup, that AoE full control. So I like to disrupt that a little bit at the pick phase and keep me open to being able to deal with it. So I went with the more Yanhong, which Yanhong heavily threatens turn 1. Mine not as much as many people's, but even on Violent, mine threatens turn 1 against anybody that's not selling out for turn 1. Like it won't beat a Nesher, it won't beat a Sekhmet, but it'll beat pretty much anything else that's trying to go turn 1. He went Abellio, which is a great little pick because he's like, okay, I'm playing a Bruiser fight, which is great. Like I would love him to stay Bruiser. And then he went Arda, which is another really good pick into me. And then I went Dominic because I has all the water, and then Sierra because I think Dominic and Sierra can beat the Arda. I need to keep my options open in beating the Arda, and if I have to leave the Oliver in, I'm not concerned about those two getting reset that much because they don't need their cooldowns that much, and they come back pretty quickly. He finished with the Doman, which is saying, I'm going to live forever, and then you're going to die slowly, and I was not having that. So, banned out the Doman, willing to fight his double healers. He banned out the Sierra, which is reasonable. It's not great, but it's reasonable. I think if I'm him, I'm probably banning out the Yanhong and just trying to outlive my heals. So, Miles goes first. Pretty squishy all over there, which is great for me. I should probably slow this down. You can't really see what's going on. But we're just Dominicking like crazy. And just trying to get some damage in. What I really like about Masha's immunity isn't so much that she's immune, it's that she's not targeted because she's not a great target, which means she lives forever, which means she gets faster. Like, she's one of those units that actually, their long-term passive actually comes to fruition, you know? Like, there's some, like, win units where it's like, every turn they gain 2% of this, and they have to live for, like, 400 turns, and they just don't. But Masha can get there. It's pretty neat. Alright, so he's trying to live. The slow I'm really happy with, applying it there. We tried to strip, we missed. Big damage with the stun, very nice. Nice damage on the Dominic. It was all that third hit or whatever. More also built tanky, I think, is surviving. If he wasn't tanky, he'd be dead already. And now they're fully on the Masha, which is fine. Get another heal in. See, I think the heals have got him both times. I think if he maybe that's wrong. I think if he didn't take the heals, he might be in better shape. But that guy was 1666, so not, you know, the biggest matchup. So I got to G1 there. I chilled for a little bit, and then I played another match. I was kind of just hanging out at the bottom of G1 and the top of C3, trying to kind of ride that border. So he did Shizuka first pick, which to me, one of the things I feel like I took away from this season that I need to do better at is, what are my responses to other people's first picks? You know, like I was still experimenting on like the final week of the season, and to me, that's not a way to win. You need to have your plan locked in so that you can focus on the second round of picks, you know? Like I was still fiddling around, like what do I want to do against Shizuka? Like I need to know. So that's one of the things I want to do next season. I'm going to try to play, not so much to get in a bunch of games, but to figure out my plan and lock in my plans. I'm going to try not to be lazy and just wing it. I want to at least play to the point where I know what my plan is and be like, okay, every time against Shizuka, I do this, and I want stats to back it up. Like, more so than individual unit win rates, I want to know what wins for me against this, so that I put myself in the best position every time. Because I've been trying Oliver Masha, which I think is reasonable because I feel like Oliver Masha Shizuka are like the golden triplets of RTA right now. And if you don't get one, you probably want the others. But I don't know if that's the best, so that's something I need to think about. Then he went double Oracle, which is so good with Shizuka. Oh, so good, especially with that Gianna. I went Juno, which I think is good against all three of those units. Or Juno, I'm sorry, is good against all three, so that's great. And then Yanhong is just good everywhere. And then I went with Diana knowing I'd ban out the Tessa. And I'm like, Ganny, whatever. Like, what are you going to do, reset my Yanhong? Like, no. I'm not worried about Ganny here. I'm more worried about the Ganny refresh than anything, because I'll have to manage my strips. So that's the matchup. I think I had lost that draft, by the way. So he missed the bomb. Got the stun. Nice squishy Ganny, because he was swift. We knew he was squishy, right? He's a squishy Ganny. Missed the bomb again. Sadness. So now I have some options on what I want to do with that Ganny. I can wait till it falls off. I can try to strip it. But I definitely want it to die. I decided to give it a little tap. There's his cooldown. And Shizuka's just waiting to do her shenanigans. I think he's waiting for the bomb. Double bomb, and I'm feeling sad. Get the shield up, kill the Ganny. Here comes more sadness. I've got the shield up, though. And the bomb's damage is based off her attack, so it's usually not too impactful. So we basically just tank it out. We just deal with the Shizuka. I don't care about that at all. Not even a little. So that was a nice win, I think. Little RNG heavy in my favor with missing the double bomb, but that's RTA. You pick a bomber, you're doing it. If you don't want RNG, pick Bird or Dominic or something that can't mess up, you know? That's bombers. Alright, so here's another match. Raid de la Dragon. So, same kind of concept. They pick one of the three, I pick the other two. Even though Masha counters Oliver, Masha's win rate against Oliver is under 50%. So, Masha is the closest thing to an Oliver counter, but it's still not a counter. Oliver performs very well against Masha. And Shizuka performs well against lots of things. So he's being interesting. He's taking the Dominic, which I like, and he's also trying to take turn 1 with the Sekhmet, but he hasn't shown a speed lead yet. I've got a speed lead, so I can just hang out. I take the Yanhong Han because I feel like this is a very neutral draft that these will perform well into, and I want to see what he's going to do. The Han gives me some options to take turn 1 if I want to bring in the Varisa. The Yanhong threatens turn 1 against everything except Sekhmet, so I'm feeling like that's a pretty good spot to be. He goes full tank with the Riley and Nana, and I'm like, okay, so we're in a bruiser battle. So I take Praha because I need another heal. Another strip would be the end of the world, and Praha's really strong into those fire units. Ban the Dominic because Dominic is the damage, and Praha Shizuka cannot really handle Dominic. I probably would like to have banned Riley because I don't like attack buffs into damage dealers, but he's only got one damage dealer in the Masha, and I've got double water, so I feel pretty good about it. That's kind of where I'm at, so that's why I picked the Praha there. Praha just does a lot too. If you think of Praha as a control unit with heal on the side, I think you're in better shape, and a strip. Like, don't think of her as a healer with control. She's kind of control. She doesn't control a ton, but she's like, I mean, she's half a Hathor, which is not the worst thing in the world with a heal. So, I mean, imagine if they gave Hathor a little bit of a heal. Like, that'd be okay. So we get the cooldown on the Sekhmet, which speed lead, Yanhong is really, really good. So that worked out really nice. And then we cool that down, and we're just going full control now with the Oliver. Nice proc for him. I still need to get better at playing Shizuka, because when I lose with Shizuka, I use her skill 2 incorrect, and I feel like sometimes a little too early. Like, it's like any sort of revive. Like, what I used to do with Tyrannus sometimes. I'll put the revive on somebody, and then they'll just target someone else, and I'm like, oh, that's sad. Like, I need to get just a little bit better at playing the Shizuka. Like, holding back on Shizuka skills is, I mean, that's underrated. Like, you want to just spam her skills, kind of, so that she can proc into other skills, but sometimes holding back is the correct play. And now I'm just trying to control everything as best I can, except Riley. Never touch Riley. You can't control Riley. She just does what she wants, is my take on her. I've gotten enough buff removal that I'll just deal with the Riley, you know? My Oliver is on crit rate, which I like that build a lot. I don't know. I need to figure out if I want him to be on crit rate again next season. My thought is no, but maybe that's wrong. We'll just have to see. So we're just killing things, and then we win. Alright, moving right along. Did that one. Yep, Bastion OP. All right, we'll speed through till we get to the picks. So he went with the Oliver Laura, which is, you know, it's a strip, but it's kind of awkward in the defense buff, and it doesn't tune, so I'm not really worried about that. I went Mosh first pick, which is great. Second went more, so I'm like, okay, I better contest turn 1 because he wants to do shenanigans. And then he went Nephthys Triana, which means I can't do the Han stripper with Varisa because Tiana just takes it all off. Then he finished off with Ganny, and I'm like, Ganny, huh, interesting. But I thought the Juno was the answer to the Nephthys, but if I'm him, I'm banning the Juno, so I ban the Nephthys, just assuming he would do the same thing. So we get the more, and then we start cooling stuff down, and just start killing stuff. Like, everything's pretty weak because he's so fast. Getting the Oliver dead with the double fires, that's all you need. That's good stuff. So that was a quick little match. All right. Cubanus. I like his profile picture a lot. So I feel pretty good getting all 3 of these units into this guy. So when I see that I've got this versus what he's showing, to me, I've already won the draft. But I'm pretty sure that was a loss, so that is not the case. Yeah, so he did what murders me is AoE control, specifically with the Chung Pung. And then the Rika there I'm not a giant fan of. I think I banned the Rika. Yeah, I banned the Rika. I maybe should have just tanked the Rika. I don't know, because the pushback from all 3 of those units plus the bombs and stuff is a lot. I don't know. I might have just been in a non-winning position here. He bans the Yan Hong, which is fine. I mean, that makes sense to me. Because in his mind, that's how I take turn 1. So we cool down the Chung Pung. So I'm like, cool, I'm in great shape here, but I definitely am not. So I think I just get bombed to death. I mean, getting the quad stun there is nice. It's not unexpected. I feel pretty good with that follow-up, too. I think I should win this one, but I just don't. I think that more is the issue. It just does too much damage, which I think is a targeting issue on my part. Gets the bomb, just cycling. I think maybe a Shizuka error as well, because my Shizuka's sitting there with the res, and that's not going to save Oliver, you know? He's just doing a ton of damage. That's what's wrecking me. And just the bombs are cycling a little too fast for me. Like, I don't know. I could have cooled down the Gianna, and then, like, the more... I don't know. It's just the combination of things are just not quite working for me. I think it's just a little bit too much control. So he just crushed me. Sadness. I thought I had that one at the draft, too. Sometimes I know at the draft that I'm done, but that one I thought I was okay on. I think this is my little losing streak I go on. And this is so sad, because I had just gone up to, like, G1 again, the final day. Like, I was right on the border, and I just climbed up, and I'm like, cool. And then I'd fallen out, and I'm like, all right, I need, like, one more win, and it was tough. It was way tougher. So this guy's going full tank. Anytime you see Wind Monkey, that's full tank. So you want to try to take units that full tank players want. You know, you want their Nana, you want their premium healers. If you have a Ragdoll, you want the Ragdoll, Molly, things like that. I took the Nana Dominic because they always want the Dominic. He got the Molly a little early. He went that's an early Tessa in my mind, because I could go double immunity here, and he's showing 1 stripper in the prob, but I don't know. I went Yan Hong Han, which is probably not perfect. The fact that he had the Tian Lang and the Tessa is really, really good for him. Like, I 100% get why he bruisers, because he shuts down most of the anti-bruiser stuff with the Tian Lang, you know. Especially my team. It's all crit. He bans out the Han. Good for him. I ban out the Tessa. I think I need my... Tessa does so much damage on a proc, and the passive is so good. But maybe the Tian Lang's the ban here. Maybe I can cycle just a little bit better and get ahead. Let's see what the Tian Lang does. Let's see. No stun. I think I just get bruisered. I just get straight up bruisered. Like, out HP'd. Like, if I did a little more damage there, Tian Lang's dead. And he's just doing so much damage into the Yan Hong. Which is insane, because my Yan Hong has quite a bit of health. Yeah, I just fall behind and don't catch up. Pretty impressive by him. This guy, TM, does a good job. So yeah, so that's pretty much the story of this match. I just fall behind, I keep falling behind. Wind Monkey does a good job. Might have been a slight targeting issue, but no, I think he just wrecked me. Never caught up. Tian Lang's so good. So yeah, so that's that one. And I'm sad there because I felt like I had a pretty good draft against him too. Alright, so now we're against Rice Chu. I think this is the series of matches where I lost like 4 out of 5 and I was not a happy camper. I was like, man, Like, especially when you feel confident your win rate's high, you're like, I'm going to be fine. But, I mean, you still got to play it. You still got to pick it. You still got to be right on the money because everyone else is trying to do the same thing. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good against this draft. I'm not sure what my weakness is. I think it's Tian Lang here. Or, what's his name? Unfair Bear. No. I go with the Unfair Bear. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get ragdolled. I thought I might have banned the bear. But at least this way I can cycle on him better than he can cycle on me. I'm a little concerned about the miles, to be honest. Missed the defense break, which it would have been gone pretty quick anyway. But pretty good damage on the Carnal, which bodes well. Yeah, the Carnal does a lot of damage. So he's probably crit rate or maybe crit damage. So we're down a unit, and we're down pretty bad on health, but we're not out. We got some pretty good damage dealers. We got stripes. Yeah, nice. Good job, Masha. So now we're into the water unit, and I know if I can kill Miles, I have a somewhat okay chance. But then I switch over to the Unfair Bear because I'm like, I just got to kill this thing. I've got 2 fire units. This is my only chance, and he's trying to eliminate my ability to kill him. So we're getting pretty close. The Fen Yang doesn't cycle as well as you'd think he would with his passive. It's been nerfed at least once, probably twice. And so there's this mystique of, oh, he cycles like crazy, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So you can hit into him and be kind of okay because he has to cast his 2 sometimes to live. So you can kind of rely on that mitigating his damage a little bit. So I'm like, yes, he's dead. Thank you. And now I feel pretty good because Yeonhong can solo quite a few things. And with the Juno's little bit of constant damage, as long as she lives, I might be in good shape here. So we're so close on the miles. She's dead. But Yeonhong kills, and then Yeonhong can solo this thing. And that's what we do. Yeonhong just heals more and does more damage. So it's going to be a win. We'll let it do its thing. So that was Rice Chu. But then we face Rice Chu again, and I'm pretty sure we lose this one. Because I inexplicably changed my plan, and he does not. So, weird. He picks the same stuff. I pick an early Molly. I don't know why, though. And then, this is great. I picked the Han again, which is debatable. And I also didn't pick the Yeonhong, which was how I won last time. So, I don't know what I was thinking. There. I ban the Ragdoll again. I leave the Kinky in, thinking I have enough to deal with it, but I'm pretty sure I don't. I think the Kinky wrecks me. Nice opener by him. That is a thick Wusa. Hard to take down. Should probably be into the Carnal here. Yeah, they're just wrecking my Han. Yep, they just wreck him. He's just a little bit less effective HP than some of my other units. And it's bad news for me. And now they're in on the Praha, and they're just way ahead. I'm just like, can I kill a unit? This is the guy I just beat, right? Surely I can kill something. So no. And then we're done here, but we just play it out to think about it. His Miles is just going nuts. Don't have the juice to kill it. So I can see where this guy's coming from, like why he picks Fen Yang, why he has the units he has. The Ragdoll lets him play a little slower, but that just worked out really well for him. So I'm down to 1899, and I'm feeling sad. Because I was like, man, I think I was like 1920 not too long ago. All right, so this is again against the Oliver, the Masha Shizuka. I think is reasonable. I don't know if it's quite correct. Now, whenever you see a Barbara, you know they're really wanting to take turn 1. There's not really a reason to pick a Barbara other than that. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I got to try to take turn 1. So I pick turn 1-y type units. He doubles down in a way that I can't really counter. Okay, we're back. So I'm going to pause it at the finisher here. So yeah, so I have nothing that really competes with the Escher, so I'm like, I'll pick the Leo and kind of put a damper on him. But what I don't think I realized is that he's got 3 turn cycling units in the 2 Oracles and the Barbara. Not really the Escher, because if he lets the Leo through. And then the Oliver turn cycles in reverse. So I'm kind of sitting still and giving him something he wants. So I'm pretty sure he lets the Leo through. No, he doesn't. I thought he would have. If I was him, I probably would have let the Leo through. Because I think he matches up pretty well against me in a Leo environment. That might just be my mistake there, but that's not a horrible choice, I don't think. So he takes turn 1 like massively. Yep, nice cooldown. And nice cooldown. That's how you do that. Take turn 1 with Oliver and mess me up. I mean, it's my fault for not being on Will, right? Like, that's not something he did right. That's something I did wrong, you know? My fastest unit wasn't on Will, which is not what you need to do, but if I wanted to actually have a chance there, it should not have been on Will. And then I'm just cooled down and just slowly getting wrecked, so this is definitely a loss. Haha, I cool you down before I die. Oliver's just doing Oliver things. He's got the heals, he's got the massive damage, and just well played with the Barbara. You don't see that too much, but He definitely did it here. And stuff like that makes me wonder if I should run Barbara Yanhong to take turn 1 sometimes, because that's definitely a thing that can happen. So now I'm down to, what, 1890 after that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 20 points off. And I mean, I finished 36, so I have a 46 point climb to end the season, which is kind of ridiculous. I don't think I lose again after that. I go a little bit YOLO, where I'm just like, whatever. I'm going to play my 30 wings, and whatever happens, happens. I had kind of thought I had fallen out for good, but I think the way I do the end of the seasons, which is a bit lazy, and doing it all on the last day, can't happen. You could have a great win rate all season, and then have it fall apart on the last day if you have one bad day. Like, you're banking that you're going to be the same as normal on the last day. So that if I did fall out, I'd be like, well, that's my fault, because I could have pushed earlier and probably would have made it. But I decided to be lazy and dramatic and play it all in one day. So if I do fall out one of these seasons, that's on me. I know that. I'm not going to like it, but that's 100% my fault. So he's got double speed lead. I got double speed lead with Varisa Yanhong. I feel pretty good about it. In my mind, the biggest problem here is probably the Nephthys. I think that's what I ban. No, I banned the Tiana. Something about Varisa, I can never remember. Something about Varisa, I'm like, if I don't ban the cleanse, Varisa's useless, right? Like, Varisa at least will do stuff that'll stick, but if he goes turn 2 with Tiana, Varisa's useless. So it doesn't tune my team or anything, so that's why I went with that. So we're just going to get Varisa here. He probably feels great. I probably don't feel great, but luckily he's low enough that I get away with it. So I fully glance, fully attack break, which is awesome. Yep, that's what makes that good. He's still feeling good. My Han's just hanging out, apparently. His will cannot be killed. And his rune quality here is the issue, his survivability, because I should not be able to just tear a Vert apart like that. I mean, I see how he wins. He gets it all done on the first turn, but I've just got a little bit more long-term in terms of my rune quality, because my guys are built a little tankier. They're fast, but they're a little tanky. So that's how we win that one, and we're like, haha, yes. 1-1, finally, after what felt like a long losing streak, even though it was just 4 out of 5. So this is a win. We can just speed it up. And then we'll go into the next one. So that was the guy with the dog. This is now the frog wearing a top hat. We'll pause it after the picks. This one's wild to me. That he picked Varisa that early. It's so wild. Like, to me, it's almost like he knows what I have. Because why would he do that? But that's just how he rolls. That's part of his team. It's wild to see someone else use a Varisa. But I've got the early Moor. I felt like the Moor made a little sense here because I needed that speed lead, and I was afraid that he was going to take it, and then I'm out of options. I went Yanhong Han because the Varisa Barbara I'm not too concerned about yet. And then he doubled down in the Ethna and Vanessa for a second 33 lead, which I get. And then I went Beta because I'm just like, whatever. I'm doing what I want. We're going YOLO. I'm going to do it. And so Han Beta I thought would be a thing because he's got some things that are, reliant on crit. Though if I cared about Beta being useful, I probably should have banned Varisa because Varisa is the AoE strip that makes Beta useless. But I didn't. I banned Oliver because I don't know why. This doesn't make sense to me. So he went first. He didn't stun the Beta. So here comes... I waited on the Beta, right? Because I don't want it to get stripped. But then he did full Varisa to me. And my kind of Han, Masha, Yanhong just overpowers that Ethna. So now we're still sitting in a kind of a weird spot, but we finally get the Beta off. Yes. Get another kill, another res, and then that's gone. So now I feel great because I've got the healing. I've got the Masha. And then Yanhong on Violent is just really good. Really, really, really good. So that's a win. Now we're on to this guy. This is kind of the beauty of playing in C3 as a G1 person who aspires to be G1 is like, I'm going to play someone at 1656, like way below me, right? So in theory, I should win these because I outrune him, I would assume, and maybe I outpick him. Whereas if I just play G1s, I might be outruined constantly. So, I mean, it stinks for him, but it's good for me, I guess, if I'm just looking for a few points to continue my climb. So banned out the Tessa because I felt like Tessa completely nuked everything I was trying to do. It felt like he wanted to play kind of bruisery, so I went a little bit bruisery. He's still got the control, though. So there's the Diana trying to wreck my Han. Don't get a stun there, but we do get some good on Myoji action, or battle Weapon Master. And then Han just goes nuts and just doesn't quite die, which is what you want from Han. Dying is not helpful to the cause, and we just wreck him through runes, is my guess. If that was somebody with normal, like, G1 runes, we don't win that, which is fine for me. Not for him, for me. All right, so he goes Molong first pick. I'm like, okay, it's a bruiser battle, so I take Dominic, Nana, because those are what I don't want to face in a bruiser battle, and that's, I assume, what he wants to pick. I don't know. So I went Yanhong Han because I feel like I don't care what he's got on the board right now. Yanhong Han should perform well into it. And this is one of my favorite matches of the night. I like this one quite a bit. So he picked the anti-Nana pick, so I know I get my Nana, right? Because he didn't pick Mephisto to ban Nana. So I get my Nana. So all I gotta do is ban Mephisto to get my Nana. I picked Oliver because I'm like, if I can cool down one of these jokers, I win, right? I'm not really afraid of the Bulwark because there's just no buffs anywhere. Like, he'll get his one Bulwarky thing, but then that'll be it. Like, where's he gonna get his buffs? I don't see anything. Diana? I just don't see it. If Diana's alive, I'm in trouble. Like, I don't see it. And so he picks three nuke units, but lets me have the Nana. So I'm like, this is gonna be really interesting. So he bans the Han, I ban the Mephisto because I'm like, I want the Nana. So miss the strip. If I get the strip, we reset that Molong and we win. So that was, we don't win instance number 1. Now we're just trying to do damage to it so that when he does do his skill 3, we have a pretty good chance to come back and kill him back. Get the defense break, and now we're trying to kill ourselves a Diana. Nice and tanky, though. So there's his first kill, right? He used the Bulwark into the Molong to kill Dominic. Then he Icaruses. That's the second kill, and now he's out of stuff, right? And I'm in this, like, really awkward 3v4 with Justin, Oliver, Yanhong. I love it. And he's like, I must kill the Oliver. The Oliver's such a problem. Which, him getting that proc is huge. If he procced again, I lose. I mean, he killed it anyway, but... So now, this is great. It was, 4v2, essentially, and it's just Yanhong and Nana. But he has nothing. He has no skills, right, for a while. And even if he tries to nuke with the Icarus, I can just heal back up, right? And all I know, all I got to do is kill this Molong, because if I can get him low enough, he can't do his third skill. And Molong is the defense break, right? So I'm just all in on this Molong. And he's trying. He's trying. Oh, look, he kills it. But she's back. And she's healed. And we go back to killing the Molong. This is 100% a, do you have Yanhong? You can win this match. Do you not have Yanhong? No. I mean, that's how LDs make people win sometimes. You have the right unit in the right spot, you steal a couple points here and there, and suddenly it adds up, and, you're doing good. So that's it. That was so fun. That we survived that massive burst and knew kind of how it was going to go. Like, there was no way I was quitting out of that match, because I'm like, he's blown everything. His Bulwark's useless. Like, even if he had a buffer, his Bulwark would be amazing. He had no buffer. Like, it's so weird that he picked it the way he did. It was very strange. That, to me, is an early Leo into what I'm showing. So I'm like, cool, I'll take units at turn cycle. I don't care about Leo. I know how my Diana Han are built, and they're built on additional damage that's not speed, and they turn cycle. So Leo's my best friend. Tian Lang, on the other hand, is not. I don't want him taking a million turns. But I'm looking at this team, and I'm like, it just sits there, right? I've got the wind I need to kill stuff. Masha's my only weak link. I think I'm in good shape. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. He just needs to pump damage into me. This was a mistake. Huge mistake. Well, wasn't the worst mistake. It's bad in that it got stunned off element. Had it not gotten stunned, I evaluated. I was like, what's the worst that can happen? Miles will do a little bit of damage, and then she'll get to transform back, and it'll be fine. But the stun is what made it real rough. So I'm like, oh, crud. And as soon as she was stunned, I was like, oh, yeah, I was relying on her to actually strip things. And now I don't have a strip, so that could be a problem. So now I'm just all in on this Miles, even though it has immunity. Thank you for proccing, Diana, for making my mistake better. So he knows that all he has to do is get like 1 or 2 little kills, and he's fine. So I'm just trying to get something dead as soon as possible. So we got it dead through the Nana, which is great. Now we got to kill the Leo, because that's his other damage dealer. Han's still alive-ish. We let him get the Torrent off, but we had no choice. Like, what am I, not going to kill the Leo and just let him run wild? No, I got to go into him. If he gets another kill, he gets another kill. I can kill something twice from a revive Leo. I've got enough turn cycling. So then the Leo's down, and now we're just in the Nana Wusa, and we're feeling pretty good. Like, having Dominic into Nana Wusa is really, really good. So now we're just going to try to power through the damage. He's going to try to kill the Dominic, but it's just not going to happen. I mean, if he can kill the Dominic, he wins, but he just can't. So that was when I hit G1, and I thought I might be okay at 1929. And I was like, yes, 1929, I'm safe. But I was not safe, because it looked to me like it was going to finish 1930, And I didn't want to, if I was going to lose my last match, I didn't want to have to do it with 3 minutes left till tally. Like, I wanted to lose so that I could have time to climb back up if I needed to. So I'm like, I'm just going to play it. If I win it, I'm done. If I lose it, I've got time. So I played it about an hour and a half until tally, something like that. So he first picked Nana, which to me is, okay, so that's Bruiser Fight, right? So I Dominic Yanhong. If he didn't pick Nana, I would have picked Nana, but I need the Yanhong anyway. Molly's not a bad option there, but I still had the bad taste in my mouth from the previous Molly of, which I thought was an early Molly that I didn't need, but there's never a time when you don't need Yanhong, so I felt like that's what I wanted to go with. He went Ragdoll, of course, and then took the Masha there. I don't feel comfortable taking the Masha into the Nana first pick, even though I want the Masha. It's just not, I don't feel like it's the way to go. You know, he's already showing water. He can go heavily into water with Miles and stuff, and then Masha's dead, so did not want to do that. So I went with the Han and then the Molly after that, because I'm like, I need the Han, it's element neutral, it's exactly what I need, and then the Molly can kind of counter the Masha a little bit, is what I was thinking. And then he went Tessa Wusa, and I'm like, well, I need a strip, because my only strip is Yanhong and Molly skill 1. So I went with Praha, because he's showing double fire. I feel pretty good about Praha here. But I don't feel very good about Ragdoll ever. I don't like Ragdoll. I don't like the way he messes with my speeds and my planning, and so I generally ban him. I also really don't like Tessa here, especially into my Dominic. This draft was really kind of awkward for me, but I was like, okay, if I'm going to win, it's protect the Dominic, right? That's what I got to play. Dominic has to live. I can't win without Dominic alive. So every single thing I do is with the intention of making sure Dominic lives. It's that kind of hero ball where you're keeping the one unit alive and letting them do the work. And he sees it too. He's like, I can beat a Dominic. I don't think I can beat a Han as easily. So that was my plan. I'm like, I'm going to try to control that Tessa and keep my Dominic alive. So we get the strip, and immediately I'm like, go to sleep. Go to sleep, Tessa. We get the Masha as well, which makes it even better. So I was like, all right, they're controlled. That's good. Now I got to start going to work. I think the Nana is the best target for my Dominic here because it's the right element, and everything hits into the Nana the same. You know, like Praha hits into the same, Dominic hits into the same. Like, it's all good. So that was my thought there. He gets the defense break, and I'm like, no. No defense breaks for Dominic. That's not how we live. So we immediately boost into Molly to shield the Dominic and cleanse the defense break because that's what we need. No defense breaks for Dominic. Luckily, we don't take anything from the Tessa there. And we're still all in on this Nana. He gets the Oblivion, but not the defense break. Excellent. We get the Nana kill. We're still feeling good. Yanhong asleep. Not a fan. All right, let's try to control him again. We get the Tessa again, which is great. And so we know we've got enough time to kill the Nana here. At least that's the hope. So we boost into the Molly again to cleanse the Dominic again because we need to kill things, right? And so then we're like, okay, that went well. And if I've got Tessa into Praha, I'm okay with that. And if I can at least dismount this Masha, that gives me a chance to keep Dominic alive, and that's what I'm all about. He gets the defense break there. He switched targets, which is awesome. That I could switch him off the Dominic with a Masha. That's just best case scenario for me. Like, my Yanhong's, everything's tankier than the Dominic. So if he's feeling not comfortable with the Dominic, that's a win for me. I feel really good about that. So then we get the strip. We're still into the Masha. Get the glancing on Tessa, which is really nice. Dismount with the Dominic. And he gets Oblivion again. We boost him up because never let him take damage. No damage for Dominic. That's the rule. And then he quits out. I was so happy. He was just like, I'm done with this. This is shenanigans. I don't want to do it. And he's pushing for G2. So that to me was like a legit final win. So that was a lot. I know that was a lot. But I really wanted to deeply dig into like how I approached the very end of the season, and the matches I felt were pretty good with the rune builds and everything for you guys. So hopefully that was interesting to y'all. If you enjoyed it, let me know. If you saw something that I missed or something that was an incorrect kind of systemic issue that I have, please let me know. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, everybody.